And there were basically three ways you could think about the emancipation of slaves. One was the gradual emancipation of slaves, that somehow over time, in some way, that slavery would dissipate and it would no longer be part of our national fabric. That I call that the sort of most benign view of emancipation. The moderate view was a position called colonization. Now, colonization meant that, well, yes, the slaves should be emancipated, but when emancipated, they should be encouraged and enabled to repatriate back to Africa or other tropical climes. Um, this was a position that was attractive to people for several reasons. One, the notion that somehow freed slaves and white Americans could coexist was really difficult for some people. Secondly, it was a more moderate position that wouldn't alienate slaveholders in the way that the next position was, which was immediate. Immediatism meant, yes, the slaves should be immediately emancipated. No ifs, ands, or buts, no anything. They just need to be. And that was the most radical position. And that played hugely in what happened in central New York. Um, Now, substantial numbers of people in central New York supported colonization. And I'll give you an example of that. And um, a representative of the American Colonization Society, Reverend Danforth, came to give a series of lectures in Utica at the First Presbyterian Church on in support of colonization. Um, then a series of counterpoint lectures were given by Reverend Beriah Green, who we'll talk about quite a bit later, against that position in favor of immediate abolition. Well, at the end of all that, the assemblers were asked to vote, and the vote was overwhelmingly in favor of colonization. So it was an idea that seemed to be attractive, partly because it did promote emancipation, but also because it did leave the country faced with what to do with freed African Americans.